I move to open the Town of Marshfield Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, December 19th, 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. As per usual, this is a hybrid meeting. You may Zoom in, you may view it later on Marshfield Community Television, but if anything goes wrong with the transmission here, we will continue the meeting in this room live. Okay, minutes. Do we have both of these minutes, Mike, or did one not?
Yes, so there's the 10-1 minutes and the 10-15 minutes. I accidentally guided you to vote for the 10-15 minutes last week.
Right,
which
okay.
is incorrect, so.
But we missed the 10-1?
Yep.
Yeah. So we have the minutes of October 1st. Anyone suggest edits, or did you get anything?
I did not receive any.
Anything at this time? Okay. I move to accept the minutes for October 1st, 2025. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our first and only hearing is 34 Roosevelt Road. I will read the legal notice. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, to consider the notice of intent filed for 24 Roosevelt Road. And the hearing officer is Commissioner Lake.
Thank you. Mike, have all the administrative requirements done?
Yes, all administrative requirements have been met.
Thank you. Want to go ahead?
Sure. Hi, I'm Rick Savant with Stemdeck and Taylor. We have a project here at Roosevelt Road that the applicant is proposing to construct a new primary dwelling on the lot. There's already an existing single-family house there. Proposing to convert the existing house into the ADU and build a new structure on the property to become the primary structure. We've been working, with the design team's been working with the building inspector on this as far as ADU and new regulations. And as far as we know, this is, kind of an allowed way to go about it that these folks are doing. This primary structure they're proposing, it's in the rear of the property. There is an adjacent BBW there that's been flagged. You can see on the plan. It's a house that'll be elevated on wood piles. We are in the flood zone, of course. We're also in a barrier beach and well within the buffer zone of that adjacent BBW there. The closest point of the proposed structure is 32 feet off the BBW. The existing house was built in the 50s, and the lot was developed about that same time. So it's kind of a unique one, and certainly one I haven't done before with another structure going in, but that's, from what we can tell and what we understand, that as far as zoning-wise, it's allowable, and we're adhering to the 25 as best we can and make it fit to the setbacks out there and making it flood compliant for the zone that we're in. We are aware of the new flood regulations for dunes that require the house to be just a little bit higher than we had been citing them prior to the new building code, but it does comply with that. Basically, they moved the driver for the height from the finished floor to the top of the piles just to get it another couple of feet higher in a barrier beach in the dune area. So it does comply with that, and essentially that is what they're hoping to do. The area of where the house is lawn. There's a tree that needs to come down. As you can see on the plan, we located the trees in that yard. One of them is certainly going to have to come down as far as being in the way of this new structure. And it's just a good fit for this family anyway. The mom's going to stay in the house, and other family members are going to build and live in the primary structure, the mom's gonna be in the ADU. So I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have on this one.
You said the existing structure is 32 feet off the BBW?
The proposed structure.
proposed.
Proposed structure is, yep. Yep, the existing structure is just inside the 100-foot buffer. You can see it just clipping kind of the west end of the house there. But it is slightly in the 100-foot. To my knowledge, they're not proposing any exterior work to that house. A whole another level of things that they'll have to comply with if they get into substantial improvement or something with that on that structure. But I don't know how much work it would take interior-wise to convert it to an ADU. I mean, it's already a single-family home, so. Wasn't really involved with anything that's going on with that, other than it's gonna be converted to the ADU, mostly with the placement and the heights on the new structure.
Can you tell me about the parking area underneath, the materials that are going to be used there?
It's stone. It's going to be stone in front of and underneath the structure. They'll have two-car parking and maybe, under the structure. And there's some adjacent parking to the east of the house. There's a section of stone that they're proposing out front. So there'll be at least three-car parking there for the primary structure, and the two parking spaces over at the existing house will remain, for the ADU. They require two spaces.
In the area where the proposed structure will be, is that all pre-disturbed? Is that lawn?
It is lawn, yes, yep. And Mike had a good picture of it up to open. That's pretty much the area where this house is gonna go. That chain link fence is on the plan. It kind of cuts through the middle of the proposed house. You can see where that chain link cuts across it. That's that angled piece there that's cutting through the building. So yeah, it's lawn. There's one of the trees. Those two trees in the photo are shown on the plan there. One of them is right where the structure is going, and basically it's going to straddle that fence that we're looking at there in the lawn area.
Mike, do you have any comments?
Yes. So it said that the impervious area is expected to increase by 1,321 square feet. Is the stone underneath the home proposed for like a pervious surface, or?
Yeah, so it's based on roof area. I know that would kind of go, but yeah, it is going to be open below the house, but as far as the additional roof area, that's basically the square footage of it, the 1,321, but below it, and it is elevated quite a bit off the ground, will certainly be pervious material below the house.
So, house number 30, that's not part of this
That is not, that is an adjacent property.
adjacent piece
Yep,
of property?
Yep, just a
So the-
neighbor's house.
So, how much, do you know how much work has to take place on the ADU?
I honestly don't, as far as interior work. I mean, it's lived in now. I mean, that's where the family
So is
lives
there
now.
any chance that that house, with the work that they might do, may have to be elevated as well?
If they get into a situation where a substantial improvement, it would be. But I would imagine, like I say, it's currently where the family lives. I haven't been inside. I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but I don't know of what they're proposing in there for changes, but certainly something that the architect and the homeowner's been, be working with Andrew on, but they certainly can't do that. If they did go over that threshold, yeah, it would have to be made flood compliant, but I don't know the extent of work that's going to be done inside there.
So even though there's that fence there, they still own that why is there a fence in the middle?
They must have just fenced it in for pets or kids or something there, but, yeah, it is not like a boundary line or a property line fence. They own.
They own that?
Yeah.
It just looks like it's part of the second.
Yeah,
the-
it does,
the
yeah.
30, you know?
Yeah.
I
It
drove
does
by
look
and I
like
was like, how does this work?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but the house number 30 has got a little small lot. They probably use that area, but it is part
Yeah.
of this property, yeah.
So now it'll be a house right behind them.
Yeah, yeah, there'll be structure right there.
So did you mention that you have a meeting scheduled with the zoning board or an application in with the zoning
We
board?
filed a floodplain permit, and I believe that the architect, the designer, and has met with Andrew, and certainly will be, Andrew has reviewed it and talked about some zoning applications that need to be made to make this work, and what needs to be done. I personally haven't met with Andrew about it, but I do believe that he's reviewing it, and they've met with him.
And do you know how many piles are going to be used to elevate the house, or?
I don't believe there's a structural plan that's been issued yet on it. Waiting, once we get to this point is usually when they engage that, but typically there's 20-ish, 22, 24 piles on a house this size, including the deck.
So do we need that information to go forward?
We do. I would say because of the complexity of the zoning issues here, this is a case where we need to hear from ZBA, I think, before it makes sense for us to make any determination. Andrew has expressed concerns about the size of the existing home. It exceeds the parameters for an ADU potentially. And if that is the case, and they need to make major changes, then you are possibly going to be in a substantial improvement, which means that has to be raised. And yeah, we don't have a structural plan yet for the proposed house. And I think in the interest of everyone concerned, we need zoning to speak first on this. Does anyone have a different opinion, or, this is,
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I was sort of
Yeah.
heading with the questions there, Mike.
yeah, sometimes we can say, okay, yeah, we know where the wetland, but there's a lot of moving parts here that we don't have an answer to. And I don't think it makes sense for conservation to attempt any kind of permitting here until zoning has had their say and we know what may have to happen.
I agree with that. I think we could discuss if we're satisfied with the wetland line and what the resource area is. If we agree it's coastal beach or.
Yeah, are we coastal,
Coastal dune.
Coastal
area.
dune.
coastal
Yep.
dune?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, it's Barrier Beach, coastal dune.
Barrier Beach
zone.
coastal dune.
And the wetland.
Yep, and it's flood zone as well.
And inland wetland district is also, clips in on the
portion
edge
of the
there.
property. Yep.
So this has got everything going on.
It's, yep. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree, Bert, if we don't have a dispute on the wetland line, did you check the wetland line, Mike?
Yes, I was satisfied with that wetland line. All of the resource areas on this plan appeared accurate.
Okay.
Maybe, do we want to just talk about the location of this new structure? It's much closer to the wetlands than the existing structure. It's moving the structure closer to the wetland line. So, I don't know if that meets the performance standards for buffer zone under our bylaw.
I believe that if a lot developed prior to 2002 has to adhere to, that was developed prior to 2002 has to meet the 25-foot setback.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
But I
wondering about
understand.
that, because, yes, our bylaw says 2002. Anything prior to that, you have the 25-foot. But I don't think we've ever had a situation where what was going to happen behind there was a new structure.
Yeah, and it does say in section 505, under the performance standards for buffer zone, that regardless of whether it's within the 25 or within the 50, it says no new structure shall be located closer to an adjacent resource area than any existing building or structure.
Yep.
So, I don't know if there's any other place on the property that you want to put the house that moves it so it's not closer?
Not a lot of wiggle room.
Corey. No, I understand. It is doing that. There really isn't much other place. It could be slightly further away, but I understand the point.
So,
Yeah, and initially, and I understand, but we're talking about ZBA. Initially, we were under the impression that it did not need to go to ZBA, so we did not file with ZBA prior to this, or we would have. So we made this filing a while back, and since then, during the floodplain review process, it's come up that
you need CPA.
we have to get, the applicant needs to get some permitting for this kind of arrangement here.
What is the ZBA permit that's needed?
I believe, forgive me, Sam, but Andrew sent out something in the permit, something with the primary structure, that,
Is what's
with the
coming
existing
to
structure
ADU.
being non-conforming, and using that as, it's basically becoming an accessory building. And I'm sorry, I can't answer that question better than that, Sam.
No, it's fine.
We haven't made that filing yet.
Yeah, I think Andrew,
Yeah, he might have.
he listed the,
I think there's a limit on the size of the ADU.
is that what?
Well, there is.
Special permits for?
Could be.
Okay.
And in his note, he says the existing house is too large to be used for an ADU, and the special permit may be denied on this basis alone,
Right.
unless they provide plans demonstrating that the existing house meets ADU standards, or plans to modify the existing house as well, which could result in the substantial improvement.
Right.
And, yeah.
Because the whole point was that no special permit is needed for the now. But because they still has to adhere to local laws and regulations, state. And that key provision or whatever is that 900 square feet.
Yep.
So because of that, I think that's why a special permit is required, right?
Yeah, I don't think it can be any bigger than that, you're right. I mean, it has to meet
Right.
half the size of the primary dwelling, or 900, whichever is larger, right? Smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah. So that's gonna have to comply. And I don't know the layout inside of that house, if part of it's utility room or how that works as far as sizing. I believe they've looked at that, but that's a zoning thing that's gonna have to be dealt with. Yeah, we require ZBA permit for the alteration and relocation of the use of a non-conforming structure to a conforming structure as it relates to a building area and yard setbacks per section 902. A ZBA permit is required to change the use of the existing structure to an ADU. So changing the use, basically. And I know this is new to all of us, right? You know?
Yeah.
For-
Yeah.
And these are gonna be coming up. Maybe not the swapping of the two, but new structures, second buildings, accessory buildings on these lots. Okay.
So should I move to continue? Do we want to set a date? Or
I would
just
say continue pending ZBA hearing.
Okay.
I don't know what
Yeah, I don't know.
ZBA scheduling
Hasn't
is,
been
and
filed yet.
you haven't filed yet, so it's
ZBA hearing or ZBA determination?
ZBA determination.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to continue this hearing until the ZBA determination is made. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah.
Okay, we are on to new business, the first being the mountain bike race. And I see
Jeff Wilson, 26 Millwell Road.
you sure you don't want to join this commission? You're here almost every meeting.
Yeah, we had this last year. It was about, I think we had like 28 people out of the 40 that showed up anyways. But I think we postponed it because of ice. There was ice. But yeah, the course is like 2 miles. It starts at, first race is at 10:55. Last race, the kids are at 1:40. Went pretty smooth, pretty easy last year because of the size. It's a smaller, the course is under 2 miles. And everyone enjoyed it, had fun. We didn't, raised a little bit of money. We got a couple tools.
Hey, I know it went fine last year, and
Yeah.
I have no issues with it taking place again. Do you have any comments, Mike?
No, I believe that this is great activity. It's a great way to fundraise too, and NEMBA volunteers do a lot of work in our trail system in town.
Any other commissioners have any,
What's the date of the?
It's January 11th.
Oh, okay.
We're hoping it's more of a fat bike thing, but if there's no snow,
Yeah.
then there's skinny tires can come. The regular mountain bikes.
Okay, I move that we vote to approve the NEMA mountain bike race on January 11th. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope and I don't hope that you have snow. Okay. Okay, business item 2, 41 Parker Street, skirting around the home. Do you want to present this, Mike?
Yes.
And tell us,
Yeah, so I do not see Mr. DeBello in the audience. I did inform him that tonight the discussion would be held and that we did in fact receive building commissioner comments. However, the skirting and the solid vinyl wall fence as is cannot exist per FEMA regulations, specifically FEMA TB5 and FEMA TB9. The skirting needs to be 6 inches off the ground, have at least 1 inch spaces between the panels, and be fastened to breakaway panels. Additionally, solid wall fencing in this environment is not permissible. Typically, it would be like a picket fence with adequate spacing between pickets and at least 6 inches between the lowest horizontal structure of that fence and the grade below it.
yeah, this is, certainly not in compliance with floodplain requirements, or with CZM recommendations, which admittedly are not regulatory, but I believe 40% of the fence is required to have opening. And that's calculated with a combination of the 1-inch spacing between the slats and the 6 inches underneath. We have nothing here. We have solid skirting and fencing all around the yard, which presents a hazard in flooding conditions. That traps debris. At the very least, any fencing needs to be breakaway, as do, I believe, the panels under the
Yes, they would have to
skirting
be
the
breakaway.
house. I think they're also missing some bracing on the piles.
Yes.
Underneath. So, this is a no-go.
Would you like me to read Technical Bulletin 5 into the record,
Yes.
just for reference?
Thank you.
According to the building commissioner, Technical Bulletin 5 of the FEMA regulations, free of obstruction requirements in FEMA Technical Bulletin 9, the design and construction of breakaway walls for the framing to be considered compliant, and any wood or plastic slats must be no thicker than 1 inch, shall be spaced a minimum of 1 inch apart, and should be located at least 6 inches above grade. They should also provide a minimum open area of 40%, and should only be attached to the breakaway framing components or directly to the pilings, with no horizontal structural members placed along or in front of the pilings for framing.
Thank you. So, what is there is unacceptable from a conservation standpoint and from a building standpoint.
Yes.
So, how do we proceed? I know there is no certificate of occupancy granted to this property yet.
That's my understanding.
Um,
There's,
Who takes the lead in enforcing the TB9, FEMA TB9 is more of a structural issue that is not us.
Yes.
But the TB5 with this fencing, I think does concern us. So,
I think,
I'm just wondering what the process is to attempt to correct this.
so as is, the fence and the skirting were both not on the approved site plan from conservation. So a way of moving forward here would be to receive an amended site plan, noting a new style fence with the adequate spacing, and also note the adequate flood requirements for the skirting as well. That could potentially be a way forward. This is a pretty sensitive area. So really, a lot of activities here via fencing and skirting, anything that would impact flow, would really be in the ballpark of a notice of intent. So I think that an amended notice of intent and having some sort of understanding with the homeowner of when these activities need to be amended would probably be the best way forward.
And there was some suggestion that on prior occasions, someone sort of trenched underneath the fence.
Yes, on Central Street.
I don't think that would be a solution here.
No, especially where grading and even consistent flow across the land is of high importance in this area. I think that creating a trench could possibly negatively impact that property and surrounding properties.
Yeah, and I don't think it would adequately compensate for actual flow through there.
Yes.
Mike, would an enforcement order be a better path to having this work be done, so we kind of control the narrative on timelines and as opposed to?
We could certainly pursue that route.
I mean, maybe if you wanted to recommend a amended NOI, but that leaves us kind of no jurisdiction
Another
to-
solution, which we sometimes practice with our notice of violations, is kind of that being the first step in the enforcement path, notifying the homeowner that they have this violation on site, giving them a desired timeline to refile an amended order of conditions, repair the structure with the understanding that if these deadlines aren't met, an enforcement order would be soon to follow.
Now, my question to this is, I believe that white vinyl fence in the rear that they are connecting into runs several properties to the right.
It does.
So if we're issuing something like this, should we issue an enforcement order against other property owners as well? Because this is where I think, especially the homeowner, it sounded like they had confusion because there's similar type fencing in this neighborhood that whether it was permitted or not, it exists.
It is possible that the fence along the rear, I would have to check near map and get some dates on that, but it is possible that that fence extending several properties was built before we had our current guidance and regulations on solid wall fencing without any gaps in this type of resource area. It appears, I'm guessing, just since all of these houses happen in a row, that fence has existed for some time. However, I know for a fact that these sections here, running up the side of the property, are new.
Yeah, I just envisioned the homeowner that's.
Oh, absolutely. He's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
say,
It's
hey,
a fair
everybody else
question.
is doing it.
It's a fair question.
And, you know, he has a point, but the regulations have changed.
Yeah.
And if this was brought to our attention and added to the plan, or the commission had a chance to review it, it wouldn't have gone to this stage.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed.
So I think you're right. You know, there is a process before we go to enforcement. And it's, you know, inform the homeowner, issue a notice of violation, hope that it can be corrected without enforcement, but enforcement is the final
Yes.
step. So I would, and anybody else please chime in, I would say you need to issue a notice of violation, and they tell them we're gonna need an amended NOI.
Perfect.
Mike, do you know when I would assume they have a TCO for this property, or Andrew issued one? Because I think they're living in,
Our building inspector did a courtesy inspection in July of 2024.
July 19.
Okay, the building inspector conducted a courtesy final inspection
temporary.
for temporary occupancy on July 19th, 24. And that failed because they had exposed insulation and various other issues. There was no fencing and no skirting at that time. At the end of July, they submitted an elevation certificate that showed that the house was compliant. And at that point, they were installing the skirting and the fencing.
Oh, it looks like, if you,
Yeah, and if you look at there's actual photos that were taken during that inspection where you can see the workers putting up the skirting. Andrew sent a message regarding non-compliant code issues and never received a response. So that was back in October of 2024. So this August, Andrew issued a floodplain violation. And clearly, they don't have a certificate of occupancy. Yeah, so, yeah, Andrew has violations and we have violations. So, he's issued a floodplain violation, we need to issue a conservation violation.
Perfect. And would we like to put a timeline on when an amended order of conditions will be received?
An amended NOI.
Yes, yep.
What's reasonable for that? This is the middle of November.
It's the middle of November. We have Thanksgiving next week, so
I would give them,
till
to January. I'm
okay.
gonna give them
Let's do the first week in January, January 5th.
Thanksgiving, we have
That'd be
Christmas,
60 days, right? More or less.
60 days, yeah.
60 days. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything they want to add here?
Wait, so would the amended NOI include the fence as it is? Or would it include a plan
It
showing a
should
fence that's,
include compliant fence.
okay.
And skirting. Yes.
And skirting. Okay? I'm going to move that we issue a notice of violation for 41 Parker Street, requiring within 60 days the receipt of an amended notice of intent showing compliant fencing and skirting under the house. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, certificates of compliance.
Ned, you?
Yep,
Quick question. So
come on up.
you had one more piece to present on a new business.
Okay.
If now or later, or you tell me what.
No, we can, I only had the bike race on the agenda, but what do you have?
So
It's
the-
business, so we can
Yeah, we can open a business discussion.
hear it. Yep.
So, thank you for letting me speak. And I must say, I don't think I've ever seen a smaller agenda in conservation in my lifetime.
I haven't, and Liz said she's never seen, in her time here, she's never seen one hearing. Just one hearing.
Really?
So I wanted to, one, give you a quick update, and then two, talk about John Little. That was the first part. So we were here, the update is, we were here back in November 5th, talking about the Pratt property and dead and laying down cedar trees to put up trail markers on. And today, we call mission complete. So we worked around with schedules, a couple of trail ambassadors, and we found two cedars that were dead laying on the ground, and post-hole digger, chainsaw, and hammer and nails, and hopefully no one can ever say they'll get confused on that property. So that was great. And then tonight, we were talking about John Little and conservation area. Mike and I walked it a week or so ago, and we're looking to do a couple things. One would be to install a footbridge at the end of the meadow where the wood starts. There's a stream that flows there, and right now it's just a little difficult for some people to get across. And so I also had Tom Grelland from the high school building construction crew. We walked at another site with him and figured out what we could do for a footbridge there. And then at the end of the trail, near where the dock is and the tent platform, there's a flat area. And Andrea Kindemo wants to sponsor a bench at that site, trail bench.
Down at the bottom, where,
Yes.
yeah, where they used to have the tent. Or where they maybe still do, but okay.
And I had staked it out, show that to Mike, and he thought that would be a good location. It's flat, it's easy, has a good view, heading out to the river, and just as importantly, Andrea liked it too, so.
I don't know who Andrea is. Is she?
So Andrea Kindemo, she's a Marshfield resident, and she wants to, she's part of our Trail Ambassador group,
Okay.
actually. And she's also wants to sponsor a bench for her husband who passed away.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That is fine with me. Anybody here familiar with the trail down to the river at Little?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, when you get down almost to the bottom, there's that, and the abutting family used to camp there.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, we had some pictures, but
How
Yeah.
big is the bridge, Ned? I mean, is it actually a bridge or a boardwalk or what?
the footbridge,
Yeah.
it'd probably be 16 feet long, or going across from end to end to make sure that the boards aren't in the water. And that there is an iron culvert there that we would, instead of pulling it out, we thought it's best just to leave it there, and actually it would be some support for the footbridge going across it. Right now, there are some rocks in the river and backing up leaves and debris, and there was a big sheet of plywood that was there that was blocking access as well. So we'd like to, clear that out so the water will flow better, and then be in good shape, hopefully.
So is it going to be just like a bog bridge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be following the guidelines that Andrew set up, and it will be similar, very similar to the other bog bridges that have been built by Tom's group. That Andrew likes the design. Of course, he came up with the design, so we followed that. So it's even better.
Good
Yeah.
idea, yeah. Any other comments?
No, that's actually what I was getting at. I didn't realize Andrew was involved, so that's all to the good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that gets wet and messy and, yeah, in
Yeah,
there.
I took a look at the property with Ned. The bog bridge is definitely needed. It would be about 20 feet long from what we measured there. And then this spans a very wet area where people are going around the
Going
wet
around.
spots and kind of expanding the path and making the whole area wetter in general. And the bench is located on a nice naturally flat area, kind of before you get to that bridge on the way down from John Little's conservation entrance. And I believe that both would be a very good location and needed assets to our trail system.
Okay.
Great.
I move that we approve a bog bridge and bench for the Little Conservation Area as per what Ned has just informed us of regarding their locations. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thanks very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ned.
All right.
Okay, now we have certificates of compliance. SE 423124, 34 Kearsarge Road. Everything's good to go?
Yep, everything's good with that property.
Okay, I move to approve a COC for 3124. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Constellation Road, we are still
Still waiting on those.
waiting on,
Yeah.
so I move to table SE 42-1162 and SE 42-1690. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 278 Foster Ave, I think we're still waiting.
Correct.
I move to table SE 42-3103, 278 Foster Ave. A second, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And 55 Maycomer's Ridge, SE 42-1527, still working on moving mechanical units. I move to table SE 42-1527. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. And that completes our business. I move to close the Marshfield Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. May I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.